What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Cuts Entertainment Report podcast. And tonight, we have a real special guest in the building. Listen, this lady here, she was a pole assassin. You've seen her on the poles for years and years. And then she decided to change. She started to bartend. And then she decided to change again. She decided to open two businesses. Listen, and then she wrote a book. You know, we have in the building today, we have Dystraction in the building today. What's going on, my sister?
Hey, that sounded like a stage introduction. You made me feel like I'm about to put a show on.
Always, whenever distractions in the building, it's always a show. You understand? So what's going on there?
Nothing much. I was actually working on some things for both of my businesses. My
Hmm.
only thing is my mind is always just zip, 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 zip. I got to organize things so I can say, at this time I'm working on this time working
Right.
on this, because when you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you have this creative side, it's just like every 5 minutes, you could be thinking of something new, something
Yep.
new, something new, something new. So,
Yep. Definitely. I
but
totally
yeah,
understand that. 100%. And right now, you're in this. What part of the states are you in right now?
Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, Atlanta. And
Yeah.
what's the vibe down there right now? Because whenever we turn on CNN and any news station right now, we see people protesting, marching. Some are peaceful, some are a little violent, all over the place. What's the vibe like where you're at right now?
So where I'm at, I'm 45 minutes south of Atlanta. So it's pretty quiet over here, but
Hmm.
I was in downtown Atlanta right after the first protest took place, and they messed it up pretty badly.
Okay.
Um I mean, but it's to be expected, when people are upset and they haven't learned how to deal with their frustrations, or they aren't being heard.
Hmm.
It's something that's going to happen. Is it right? I'm not here to discuss that. Is it wrong? I'm not here to discuss that. But what I can say is that it wasn't not expected. If
Got
the
you.
world thought that there wasn't going to be some type of violent reaction to occur eventually, especially after we've been quarantined. To add the fact that everybody's been stuck in the house away from people
Hmm.
all this time, and then something like this happens. It's like, okay, we've been good, we've been in the house, we've been doing what you asked us to do. Not this, on Memorial Day, like the day
Yeah.
y'all open the world back up, like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, and I find it not odd that
Hmm.
I actually released my company, Mamas with Melanin, on the day that George Floyd got murdered,
Wow.
on
Okay.
Memorial Day. I just noticed that last night. Like,
Hmm.
man, so when
Hmm.
you're in alignment with what God is telling you to say, like, things just kind of, you don't even notice, coincidental things like that happening until after they've happened. And it's like, wow, like, like, so it makes me even more passionate about me having that niche, having a space for Black mothers, and not just Black mothers, Black men and Black children too. The basis of it is, Black mothers, but I've still incorporated Black fathers as well and Black children. So no time more than now was it more important for me to start that movement. But I find it not odd that I released this on the same exact
Yeah.
day when his murder took place.
Yeah,
So
that's it's crazy. Sometimes it's divine intervention. You just never know. Sometimes
yeah,
everything just lines up. Wow. But I definitely want to get into your business and your entrepreneurial spirit and stuff. But let's get back from the beginning of stuff here.
the beginning.
Yeah, as a kid growing up, what kind of kid was Distraction? What did Distraction, who did Distraction want to be growing up?
So distraction was Kiera growing up.
Hmm.
I am the oldest of eight.
Okay.
Um, so I was always the one that was in charge. The person that's the next closest to me is 6 years younger than me. So I was like
Okay.
not oldest by like a year or a few months. Like, I was the boss.
Yeah.
And growing up, I wanted to be a teacher. Actually, I don't know why. I guess it was just a natural. I don't know why I wanted
Okay.
to be a teacher, but I would sit and teach my bears, my dolls, stuff. I wanted to be a teacher, and I actually went to college I graduated high school at 16, so I was double promoted. I'm quite intellectual,
I
must
that
I
I do
say.
that I do know, but they're gonna find this out as this conversation
Must
continues.
I say? But
Mhm.
um, you know how they ask you those questions like uh for the yearbook, like most likely to succeed, most likely this, and this. I would
Right.
have never been most likely to strip, like that. Like when people from school saw me like in the club, they
Yeah.
face was like, what are you doing in here? And
Yeah.
then when they saw like I was the show, like the headline, they really like, where did
Yeah.
this come from?
Hmm.
But I was always athletic. I was always in the cheer dance. I've been doing cheer dance since I was 10.
Okay.
So when I found a pole, I was about 20. And I
Okay.
did my first pole trick. The first time I ever touched a pole, I was
Yeah.
doing a amateur night contest. And so it
Okay.
just came naturally to me. I'm like, yo, like
So then that was your first encounter with the strip club, or this was just a what was it your
my
first
first
encounter?
encounter with the strip club. I I was going to an amateur night. I was living with my cousin. We were roommates, and her
Mhm.
and her friends kept leaving, going, doing these private parties and stuff like this. And I'm nosy. I'm just like, "What? Where are y'all going? Like, why do y'all keep, She's like, we're going to make some money." And I'm
Mhm.
like, money? She, yeah, we're going to do a private party. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to go because I'm nosy. So I
Yeah.
go. I don't dance, of course, because I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm sitting there watching them make money from doing. I'm like, they can't dance. Like, they really making money. So the next time they left, I was like, I'm going, where y'all going? I'm going to make some money too. They're like, well, we're going to a club. And this
Mhm.
club was a white club. So they playing all this hard rock and this
Mhm.
music I don't know what's going on. But it was an amateur contest to win some money. And I'm like, I want to win some money. I go do the contest
Mhm.
and I went third place. Of course, I
Okay.
mean, I'm a black girl. They not used to me or my style of dance. So I think that was pretty good for somebody first time. For me,
Yeah.
I went home with some free money for being on stage for a couple minutes.
Mhm.
And then, I was pretty much hooked. I didn't start dancing immediately after that, but I
Okay.
started going trying to become a waitress, a bartender, all of that. Da, 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 da.
And and this was in the strip club, or this was just like at a restaurant? Where were you trying to really do
And
the
I was
bartending and
trying to
stuff?
go to the strip club where the money looked
Got you.
easy.
Yeah.
But
And this was in what part of the states?
Detroit. This was in
Detroit.
Michigan.
Okay.
Yep, I started in Michigan,
Hmm.
and nobody would hire me because I was this skinny little
Yeah.
puny thing who wore glasses, wore real hair, didn't know how to wear makeup. They would not. They was looking at me like, "Girl, you somebody daughter. If you don't get up out of here." And this
Yeah.
was 13 years ago. So this was when women really had to be stacked back. When I started, like you had to be stacked or you had to come with some talent. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, anybody who wants to do it can do it.
Hmm.
Honestly, they don't have to look like nothing. And most of them don't look like nothing if you go in a strip club now. But back when I started, like,
Yeah.
oh no, you had to be coming with something. And I wasn't coming with nothing but a hope and a
And where
dream.
was your
So
where was your transformation where you started to say, I need to actually present myself in this way to actually get started?
so I snuck one day. I got hired as a shot girl,
Okay.
and a lot of the guys, Detroit guys, love a natural looking woman, so they would give me hundreds of dollars just for having my real hair in and I have no weave on
Okay.
for walking around with shots. Like literally would be like, here, sit down, you have to do nothing here.
Yeah.
Here's $300. Like I remember the exact amounts because I was in such shock. First of all, I'm 20 at the
Hmm.
time, and somebody just giving me $300 just because I came in
Yeah.
here with a natural hairstyle. I'm
Yeah.
appalled. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I gotta start dancing now because this was the beginning of the Make It Rain movement where guys make it
Got
rain.
you.
This wasn't something that guys were always doing. Maybe a year before I tried to get in the game, guys just used to hand women big bills, 500, 1,000, just big bills, just because they're beautiful or whatever.
Hmm.
But so this Make It Rain movement started coming, and guys were spending so much money trying to show out in the club. And I'm like, nah, I gotta get some of that,
Yeah.
like I gotta get some of that.
Hmm.
And so one day I snuck in during day shift and work because day shift, they didn't really pay attention to you during day shift. This wasn't the headliners during day shift.
Got you.
snuck in during day shift, and I stayed too late because I lost track of time. And the security guard who did not, because they used to let the security guards hire at this particular club, the one who just was like, "No, you cannot work here. Go home. Where's your daddy? I know your daddy care about you." He snatched me up some scantless when he came there and seen me in there working, get money. And so I left there because I had gained some experience. I was there for like a month. Again, I'm a quick learner. I was very athletic. So I had learned the stage presence and everything within a month. I went to a different club. And after
Got you.
that, it was over. Like I was going everywhere, and people started telling me I needed to go to Miami because of my stage presence. They just kept saying, "You need to go to Miami. You need to go to Miami. You just got this stage presence." And I'm like, "Well, what is it about Miami? What is it about there?"
Mhm.
Again, I'm young at the time. I'm about 22, 23. Now I'm not going all the way to Miami to make no money,
Mhm.
but I did end up going after I had my second daughter.
Okay, so then even with that now, did you have your kids before you got into the industry or
I did
during
not.
while you're in?
I had my kids maybe like 2 or 3 years after I was in the industry. I had one when I was 23 and one when I was 25. So about two to 4 years into like once I started. And then my name was Jules before I moved to Miami. My dance name
Your
was
name was
Jules.
Jules.
My dance
Okay,
name was Jules. So I
stop
was
there one
Jules.
quick second. We're gonna get to Miami 1 second there. So then
Hmm.
now you started your career already stripping, and you have your kids in between while you're stripping. How
Hmm.
does that slow you down, or what does that do for your career having your kids in between while you're dancing?
It makes you go back a savage. Like you go back like now it's not just about I want this money. I need this money. I got mouths
Yeah.
to feed. I got
Hmm.
kids to feed. I've been gone all this time watching these people, watching these girls make all this money. And I didn't have a financial plan set up. I just got pregnant and then just disappeared. I didn't set up any type of savings or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I just vanished. And so it was like, oh, when it's time to go back, it's time to go
You go
back.
back.
Like so
And
if
how long were you
anything, I
actually
think it
down
took
for?
more hustle.
Mhm.
With both of my children, I think I was only out after having them for like 4 weeks. Like my body snapped completely back within like 4 weeks. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I was back. Like people didn't even know, like unless they knew me and was following me on Facebook, because there was no Instagram at this time.
Yeah.
They just was like, ain't no way you'd have had a kid or two. And I had them like back to back. They 20 months apart. So I had them kind of like back to back.
Okay.
So they like, ain't no way you
Yeah.
done went off and had two kids. Yeah, I
I
did
like
that.
that. Wow. Okay, so then let's get to Miami now because you said when you were in Detroit, your name was Jules. So then I
Yeah.
guess when you got to Miami, that's when you changed your name to Distraction.
Yep.
And
There's
how
people
did you
that
even
still
get your name?
actually call me Jules too. That's why I'm
Okay.
like, and I chose that name because I was like, Jules sound like a regular name
Hmm.
and a stage name.
Yeah.
So, because I hated guys saying, "Well, what's your real name? What's your
Yeah.
real name?" They just, what do you need to know that for? Like.
Hmm.
But when I went to Miami, I went down there with my daughter, my second daughter's father. We
Hmm.
went to Dallas first. I hated it in Dallas. And then we were listening to the radio driving back to Detroit, and we heard
Hmm.
something about Puff Daddy threw $1 million in King of Diamonds. Knowing
Okay.
good and well he ain't throw no $1 million, but I ain't know no better then. I was like, I'm going to get me some of that million
Yeah.
dollars. They've been telling me to go to Miami. That's the next stop.
Hmm.
So after we got back from Dallas, a couple weeks later, we drove down to Miami. I go to sign in. They're like, it's a jewel here already. I'm like, well, hmm. What name do I use?
Hmm.
There was this girl named Distraction. I liked her name. I borrowed it. I get
Oh,
stuck with it. She
got
still
you.
hates me to this day.
Okay. Now let me give you full disclosure, Distraction. Full disclosure. I had her on the podcast probably last year, and
Uh-huh.
she claimed that she had the name first.
She
And then
did.
you okay, so you see?
I made it popular.
Right.
And she still hates me for that. But
Okay,
the
fair enough.
thing
I love
is,
your honesty.
I
I
didn't
love your
do it
honesty.
intentionally.
Hmm.
I didn't plan on moving down there. I'm thinking, because I don't even live there. I'm like, all right, let me use Distraction. It's only gonna be for a weekend.
Yeah.
I end up not leaving. So I go and tell the manager, like, I need to change my name though, because I stole that name from somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And me not knowing I'm gonna get this popular. I mean, it's a million honeys, it's a million strawberries, it's a
Yeah.
million jewels.
Jules.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Everything. I'm like, but I'm like, just in case I do, I like to be different. I'm like, I gotta get that name back. I gotta pick another name. And he was like, nah, you
Yeah.
can't. That's your name.
Yeah.
That's what we know you by. That's your name
Distraction.
now. And so I'm like, all right. And I end up seeing her maybe like 6 months after I moved, and she knows I has his name. She's like, now don't go getting popular. She like, don't go get. She told me, don't go get popular off of my name. I was like, baby, I ain't trying to, but whatever. Because when I came to Detroit, I would still go by Jules. When I came back to Detroit, because I was a popular dancer in Detroit, so I would go by the name that they knew me by, which is Jules. I end up blowing up with Distraction, and it was like, and I meet people too, and they be like, it's this other girl that's trying to use your name. And I be like, I took the name from her.
Yeah.
I made the name. You know what I'm saying? I took the name from her, but I made it. You know what I'm saying?
Got
It's
you.
kind of like,
Understandable.
it's like Ray Kroc. He took McDonald's name. That wasn't his name.
Yeah.
But he did the thing with it. You
Yeah.
feel me?
He made
He
it
took the
popular.
whole, yeah, he branded it. I
Right.
branded it. That's what branding is. I branded it. I, like what can you
Sorry.
I don't lie about it.
Yeah.
That's one thing you ain't, because she could never say that I lied and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
I
I
made it
totally
first. Like
respect that. Totally respect that because
I
you said
tell
it.
people that all the time. Like, she had it first. She thought of
Yeah.
it. And
You just made
that's
it
what
popular.
happened.
I
Yeah.
got you. Okay, so then now you're in
But I did
Miami, and
spell
then
mine differently.
that I
Spell
do
mine with a
know
Y
because you're a Y and she's with an X down at the end.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you get to Miami now, and then you get to, I guess, the first club you went to was KOD, King of Diamonds,
Yep.
and that's where it really started popping. Now,
Yep.
what was your first night like in KOD, especially you being the outsider coming into their turf?
My first night was very interesting.
Yeah,
So they have this thing where you have to pay a tip in
yeah.
and a tip out.
Okay.
I ain't used to paying nobody twice. Out in Detroit, we don't do that. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I didn't know about this though. So I paid to work. When it's time to leave, the manager is asking for me to pay to leave. I'm looking at him like, no, sir.
Yeah.
I, I paid you to work. He's like, yeah, we take 10% of what you make. And I was like, oh, this not gonna work for me, baby.
Yeah.
So my first night, I don't really remember what I made, but I remember the second night, me having my baby daddy come in there, sit at the bar. Wherever I made money, I would go give it to him and have him count it and turn it in, because it's the ones that they count that they take 10% off of. So I'm
Yeah.
having him turn it in as the night goes. So now I ain't gotta pay no whatever y'all talking about when I leave. I learned how to play the system real quick.
Come
Like,
on.
yeah, y'all ain't. That's not gonna work for me. So I had made about $1,000 that night. And I
Okay.
remember getting into it with a girl too, because I didn't know anything about, like, there was this rule there that if you're standing there and you're dancing, when the first dollar is thrown, that's whoever is over there in that section. In
Yeah.
Detroit, it's free for all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they start throwing money, you better get over there and start getting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting over there getting it. Oh man, I done almost got fired. I done almost got in a fight, and I had to be trained.
This is how it works down here. I don't know about
Yeah.
Detroit, but down here in Miami, this is how it
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, but once I got trained and again learn how to work the system, because I'm very smart. Okay, so this how y'all do it down here. Listen, as long as I know the rules, I know how to work around them. I got it. But the next day, I didn't work on Sunday, but I worked on Monday, which used to be fight night. I went home with about $2,500, and that's when I decided
Yeah.
I'm not going back home. Send
Yeah.
the kids.
Yeah.
We down here, and I'm new. I didn't have. They put me on the lame side of the stage, which is the other side. It used to be called stage 3 there, which
Okay.
it it didn't get as much traction as the main stage, and I
Hmm.
still was in there killing it. And I'm just like, imagine when I, actually break in here and make a name for myself, figure out how do I get myself on that main stage. I did this and I'm a nobody. I don't
Hmm.
know none of these men, you know what I'm saying? I don't know none of these girls. They all
Hmm.
probably looking at me like I'm retarded right now, but I'm not going nowhere. I
Yeah.
just made this like this. So that's how I ended up moving to Miami.
Okay. And how long were you actually working at KODs for?
I would say about 4 years. I was probably there from like 2011 to like 2015 ish, like
Okay.
steady.
Hmm.
Um, I was there on and off, like sometimes in 2015, because once I started to travel,
Hmm.
things just I was just everywhere. I was everywhere in Miami, especially once I made a name for myself. I could just go anywhere and everywhere, and
Okay.
get a bag, especially
And
like at G5. Like if G5 had like some type of special event going on, I would go over there. And my manager actually got mad at it and he started to make this clause like, if you a flying angel, because I became a flying angel too, he made this group called the Flying Angels, which were essentially, some of the best pole girls in
okay.
America. Yeah, some of them didn't even live there. Like two of our girls actually lived in New York at the time.
And who was in Pole Angels?
Flying Angels.
Flying Angels.
There was Spider Magic, me, Mazani, um, New York, which used to be my stage partner.
Okay.
Uh, it was it changed depending on the season because people started to be added,
Hmm.
some started to drop off, so the original ones though were the ones that I named,
Yeah.
the
And these
original
are
Flying Angel.
all, you guys at these times, you guys are basically like the superstars of your industry at that time there, because I know Magic and Spider, they were everywhere doing crazy stuff. New
Hmm.
York, she went to Jamaica and did a TV show with Vibes Cartel. You were
Hmm.
all over the place. So it's like that Flying Angels conglomerate was like the
Hmm.
top tier of strippers when it came to the game in
Hmm.
America at one time.
Yeah. Well, pole dancers, because I wouldn't even say top tier strippers, because when I started, Black China was still dancing, Jocelyn was dancing, but they weren't Flying Angels, but they were
Okay.
top tier. They didn't do
God,
pole. You see what I'm
they
saying?
weren't
Like they didn't
poles.
do pole. Right, right,
Hmm.
right. So it was Dime Piece was still dancing. Like I danced with all these girls.
You dance with, so you, Black China, and all of them dance together?
Hmm. Yep,
No idea.
yep.
No idea. You know what? Since you brought up Black China's name, do you have a crazy story with you and her at the club?
A crazy story.
With you and Black
Nah, I
China.
just remember when she first got with Tyga, and I
Hmm.
just didn't believe her. It was me, her, and Mazani. We were booked somewhere in Florida, and she was saying that she was about to stop dancing because Tyga didn't want her dancing no more. And I was like, "Girl, you ain't," you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at her, "Girl, you ain't messing with no Tyga. Shut up, girl.
Hmm.
If you are, what's the problem? Because I'll stop." You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
was like, but after that, I ain't see her no more. Next thing you know, she living in Cali. She having the baby. I'm like, oh damn, she was telling the truth.
But I guess it comes with the lifestyle, because you guys are always moving around, flying around, meeting all of these artists, these rappers, all these type of big stars here. So then it's very easy to get swept up right away.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is. It is, and it's not. Because
Okay.
if you're so deep into the industry where you're loving making your own money, you're loving the attention you're getting, most men when they come along, they want to take all that from you. They like, stay at home. I'll
Hmm.
pay you. You don't have to worry about anything. They don't want you getting attention from all these men flying all over the place, never at home. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it depends. It's easy to meet a man. It's
Yeah.
not easy to keep one.
Got you. Well, like real life, and that's 110% what it
Yep.
is. All right. So
Yep.
KOD's here. Give us three of your craziest nights in KOD, whether it was whoever came through, the type of money you made, something that stood out in your mind to this day. 3 nights KOD.
Okay, so my first memorable night, I talk about this in a book too, was when Rick
Hmm.
Ross was there.
Hmm.
I danced with Lyra Galore. Rick Ross was there. It's like legends was made in KOD, like real
Yeah.
talk.
Okay.
But he was there and he had a particular, like most of them, him, Floyd, most of them when they come, they like the mixed looking girls, you know. So I didn't waste my time over there.
Mhm.
I was still flat chested, skinny, you know what I'm saying? I was
Mhm.
like, and I had only been there for a few months. I'm not
Okay.
about to wait in that line. It used to be this line you had to wait in to try to get up there and be with him and
Okay.
split the money. He'll probably spend maybe 30,000, which is a lot. And it might be like 10, 20 y'all up there. So y'all get anywhere from 5 to 10,000. And then you gotta pay your
Mhm.
10%. So, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going through that. I'm gonna mess with the dudes that come on a normal, you know what I'm saying? See if I see anybody that I normally see.
Mhm.
And as I'm walking away, because it was this girl, she was from Ohio. I have a good memory. She was from
Clearly.
Ohio. She wasn't like people would fly in to come to events like this, you know.
Mhm.
So she wasn't from there. And we were supposed to be partnering going to get some money. She was like, well, I'm gonna wait over here. I was like, well, that's fine. I don't
Mhm.
have a problem with doing anything on my own. I was always a learner anyway. And as soon as I walk away from her, this girl stops me and smacks me on my butt and tells me to dance. Normally, I don't even like girls. I don't like dancing for girls because they just be too extra. They be hating all that. And I'm
Okay.
like, I mean, I ain't doing nothing else. Let me dance. She gets $1,000, throws that. Gets 2,000, throws that. Says, wait right here. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna get some more money from my baby daddy. Gets 3,000, throws that. Says, stay right here. Don't go anywhere. At this point, old girl who was waiting for Rick Ross comes and walks past like, oh, I'm like, I told you. Look,
Mhm.
I told you. But now you remember the rule that I told you about, right?
Mhm.
Once somebody here and that first dollar get thrown, it's over for
Right.
anybody else. I'm over
Right.
here by myself. Normally, if this amount of money is being thrown, it's like two, three, four girls.
Okay.
I'm by myself and I'm new. So now all the girls walking past looking at me like, Ashley,
Mhm.
how did how? So she like, no, and this is none of y'all. Y'all can go ahead and keep walking. This was the girl saying this
Mhm.
dancing. She gets another 1,000, throws that. I'm
Okay.
like, they're calling me on stage. I'm like, all right, I gotta go to stage. I'll be back. She's like,
Mhm.
we'll still be right here. Go ahead on stage. Go on stage, make 1,600. So I'm just
Wow.
eating for the night. Go back over there. She throws another 1,000. So now at this point, I'm like, where am I going to hide all this money? Because
That's a
I'm
lot
not
of money.
giving
Yeah.
them $500-600. I mean, I know I got a lot of money, but I'm not giving y'all $500-600. Somebody car note, that's somebody rent. Like, I'm not giving that to y'all for what? You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. My mind just couldn't wrap my head around that, and so I had the security come clean it up. Now this
Mhm.
heavy,
Yeah.
because some of it's wet and it's a lot of money. It's heavy.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'll go to the back, empty out all my dance clothes out my bag and stuff and jump this money into the bag, stuffing it, stuffing,
Mhm.
stuffing it. Left my clothes, shoes, and everything in the locker. Like I'll come back and get that, even if I have to buy more. This is over $6,000, and I'm not giving them
Yeah.
10%. So
Mhm.
that was my first memorable night. Second would be when I ended up getting into a fight with a dude. I hadn't learned my temper yet. Now, me in New York, we doing this particular trick where she does a headstand on my back, and this guy is just coming and he's swiping my private area like this while I'm bent over.
Mhm.
And I've lost, like I've thrown her off my back, and I'm like lost it. And she like just calm down. And they all him and his boys laughing. They think it's funny. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give him another chance. He
Mhm.
probably drunk. Look at the industry I work in. I'm used to dealing with nimwits,
Yeah.
but still, Kiera just really never had that type of patience. He does it again. I let it pass again. The third
Mhm.
time, I think I probably like took her and threw her into him. I'm like, scrapping this
Yeah.
dude. He swells up, got all these muscles. I'm like, yeah, I'm in trouble now. Like I'm in trouble now. The minute he comes to try and get me, security like snatches me up just in time. And I think I had like $1,000 of me in New York's like in my fingers because they were big bills,
Yeah.
like in my fingers. And as he's snatching me up, it falls out of my hand. And I'm like, no,
My money.
our money. Like, that's
Yeah.
the stack right there. Like, I done squirmed up out of his hand, snatched our money up, and get cussed out by my manager. He's like, "You're not in Detroit. You can't. You don't. What's wrong with you? You can't be bringing that Detroit down here." And da da da. I'm like, man, you don't know what he did. And where was the security at when he was doing what he did? You know what I'm saying? So that was another time. Let's see when I can think of like another third time.
Something that really sticks out in your mind. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, that night.
I came back home to Detroit one day and watched a man get shot and killed in the club, like right there. It's a dead night too. Like
Wow.
nobody's there. This guy come in acting belligerent. He gets on stage, no shirt on. Security ain't doing nothing. I'm in the corner. I'm sitting in a corner, like sitting on a speaker. Like it's really like so dead in there at this time. And it was a Friday. I don't know why I was so dead. But
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the corner talking to my homeboy because we haven't seen each other in a while. And next thing you know, he goes out, comes back in, and we just hear pop, pop, pop. I look across, this man is getting shot. And one of my homegirls, too, her and her husband used to come in and support me. Although I haven't seen them since.
Yeah.
And this was like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And her and her husband used to come in the club every weekend and support me. Her leg got grazed by the bullet, but seeing that, like I've seen people get shot and killed on the outside of the club. There's been shootings on the inside, but I've never had to go past a dead body. He didn't make it.
Yeah.
And that for me stuck out a lot because one of my good friends, like that was her last day. She like, I can't do this no more. And I'm like, I thought I was gonna be. I'm like, why can't I quit? Because
Yeah.
I've tried everything. I was like, I'm gonna join the military. I've tried so many things to get. It's so hard
Yeah.
to get out of dancing. It's like being a drug dealer, a legal drug dealer, especially
And
when you're making.
what is it that really, because I still want to go a bit more into this memory, but since you brought this up, I want to talk about this a bit.
Mhm.
What is the quote unquote, we'll call it the addiction? Is it the money? Is it the attention? Is it both? Is it the display? What is it about the lifestyle?
I think it honestly depends on who it is. For me, it was the freedom and the
Hmm.
money. I
Okay.
could work when I want to, where I want to, and make a shitload. I just told you what one of my biggest days was. Like I'm
Yeah.
making what it takes some people months to make in one night.
Yeah.
And it's not like that for everybody. It's
Hmm.
definitely not like that for everybody. But this is for somebody who didn't even party at the time. For those who like to party, they're
Hmm.
getting paid to party, especially if they don't have children. They're getting paid to drink for free,
Okay.
smoke for free. They don't have to wake up and, like have any rules. Like I was telling people, like, did me being a flight attendant, not as the first real job, like career I've
Hmm.
ever had. And it's like, being attentive to time and not being able to just get up and go how I want to. It really depends. Like you kind of get addicted to having that type of freedom. That's why I feel like I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit because I've always I'm unemployable. You know what I'm saying? Like like you can't give me no rules. And even with clubs, I'd be like, they implement some rule that I just don't agree with. Like, listen, I can go somewhere else. I ain't got to be here. But it's the fact that you're making all this money tax free and you ain't got nobody that you gotta answer to, honestly. And it's like, how do you get? And then we don't learn how to budget. We don't learn how to use our money. We just think we're like drug dealers. Oh, we can go to work and make it tomorrow. We live beyond our means because we had $1,000 night, 2 nights in a row. We feel like we can afford $2,000 a month rent. No, ma'am. Like
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
mess up the credit is just a downward spiral
Hmm.
if you haven't learned any financial responsibility, which many of us haven't. If you haven't
Hmm.
learned what to do with the money, yeah, you can make it, but do you know what to do with it? And it gets you stuck because by the
Hmm.
time you do know what to do with it, you ain't making it the way you used. Girls not making money the way they used to back
Okay.
when I started.
Yeah.
The economy just doesn't have it right now. Like all the guys who were spending money like that, they're locked up,
Hmm.
and the ones that spending money like that are smarter now. They're not just in there just throwing
Yeah.
money away. And then the girls all cheap now.
Yeah.
They're too easy. They're not providing a this fantasy that guys used to, want to see. So the money is just not there the way it used to be,
Yeah.
and you just get stuck. It's like, how do I get out?
Yeah, that makes totally makes sense. Cause we're gonna go down that road a bit more just now. Let's continue here with the Miami. Miami now is where you basically this is where you basically grew your wings as the flying angel. This is where you met New York also.
Yes.
Okay, and where was the catapult where you actually started to really see your started to rise in the KOD?
Um. So there was this time I wore this black curly hair.
Hmm.
And in Detroit, I used to love to dance off of Dirty Diana. And I came in one day and somebody was like, "You looking like Dirty Diana." Oh, I'm like, and I'll dance to it and tear it up
Yeah.
too. And so she dared me. I'm like, bet, let me go tell the DJ to put it on. DJ puts on Dirty Diana.
Hmm.
I tear it up. I stop the entire club.
Yeah.
They like, that's when I realized, like, and the manager
Hmm.
who created Flying Angels, his name is Rick. That's when he realized, showstopper. She's a showstopper. If she can take this song
Hmm.
in the hood club in the middle of the night, right in between some Jeezy and some Young Jock,
Yeah.
stop the club
Yeah.
and men don't get mad, something's in her. Something special is in her.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to get a little bit of attention.
Hmm.
When I changed my hair color to red, because it was so many people, it was so many of us, it was hard to stand out, especially with me, again, not having a body,
Yeah.
like a Miami built body, because they was built, they was stacked.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Uh-huh.
Like, they was stacked. I'm like, I
Hmm.
gotta do something to stand out. Nobody in here is wearing red hair. I'm gonna wear red hair. I used to wear red hair in Detroit sometimes. Let me put my red hair in. And then this is the time around when K Michelle was coming out.
Yes.
So everybody's like, "You look just like K Michelle. You look," and I don't know who she is because I don't. I still don't watch TV like that to this day. I
Hmm.
don't know who a K Michelle is, but I'm like, I guess if she getting me traction, fine. Is she
Yeah.
ugly? Oh no, she ain't ugly. All right, cool. I'll look like K Michelle, whatever. But that, and then when I tried to change my hair back to a different color, again, the same manager who told me I could not change my name from Distraction was like,
Yeah.
"No, you cannot change your hair from red." It
Yeah.
was so deep that they wouldn't even let other girls work there with red hair. Like I remember a girl coming there, and this was her signature hair color from a
Yeah.
different club. And they told her, "You cannot work here with that red hair because when they see red hair walking around the club,
Hmm.
they expect it to be me."
Yeah.
It was deep. And then I went to pink,
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, they can't keep the girls from wearing red. Now they all trying to wear red. So let me do something even more absurd. Let me
Yeah.
do pink. And this before everybody started wearing these hair. Like I always did stuff before, as far as like my look, I always did stuff to stand out before anybody else. Those stoned nails, I wore that
Hmm.
before everybody.
Okay.
I used to wear glitter eyebrows. I used to wear glitter lip. When that glitter lip stuff came out, I had been doing it for a year already
Okay.
and getting talked about. I was the guinea pig
Yeah.
that got talked about and laughed about. Like, "Well, she looking crazy." A
Hmm.
year later, I'm just a little ahead of my time. That's all. But then people started to pick up on it, and but it was a thing. Again, it was a branding thing. Like people
Hmm.
knew if they saw glitter lips, it's distraction. If they saw glitter eyebrows, it's distraction. If they see red hair, it's distraction. Pink hair. But when I did the pink, I really started popping because that's when I started doing photo shoots and stuff like that. So it was like the deeper I got into branding myself and putting a certain stage presence.
Hmm.
Because like me in New York were really big with that. Like we weren't like the best pole girls, but we knew how to put a show on. You know what I'm saying? We
Got
practiced
you.
our craft. We were
Hmm.
good on the pole. We were great on the pole, but we had a different type of like spice to us. You know what I'm saying? We first of all didn't even look like. I remember one of the owners of Diamonds of Atlanta telling me after we auditioned, because she didn't know who we were.
Okay.
She was like, "I didn't think y'all was gonna be able to get up the pole and do what y'all did because y'all not built. Like we didn't have a pole body build. We
Okay.
had like just a cute thick, like we just about to go up there and be cute. We didn't have
Yeah.
like that, type of build. So she just wasn't expecting it. And I think that was the thing that was different about us for everybody. If they didn't know, when people saw us for the first time, they never expected what we was coming with. You know what I'm saying? So we brought that, and we always brought our best. We just always wanted to put on a great show. You know,
Okay.
sometimes she'd dip off and get in her feelings or whatever. I knew how to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? That was my baby. I knew how to deal with her. Everybody else didn't quite know how, but
And you guys, I guess you guys met at KODs and then you guys started to travel across the country and
yep,
stuff like that to different clubs. And I know
yep,
you guys even came to Canada one time
yep. We've
as
come to Canada a couple times together.
okay.
Yeah.
And what's the real difference? Because I know certain parts of the states you could just get topless. You have to leave your bottom on and stuff like that. What's the real difference in I guess like a Detroit versus a Miami versus a Houston or somewhere else or a New York?
So Detroit and New York,
Hmm.
I'm almost certain there is no nude, only topless.
Hmm.
And like in New York, you can't even touch. Like you're not supposed to touch the girl. Like certain places up here, like Philly, you're not supposed to touch the girl.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I learned this from a guy from Philly, like coming and saying, like, is it okay like that I touch you? And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't care, you know what I'm saying? He like, well, in Philly, you know, we not allowed to like touch or nothing like that. Detroit,
Hmm.
it's illegal for you to give a lap dance. We're not supposed to sit on a guy. If the police come in and raid, y'all
Hmm.
both gonna get a ticket. But they
Okay.
still do it. Nudity is not allowed in Detroit. But if you're like on the outskirts of Detroit, like in a different city,
Hmm.
and you don't sell liquor, then nudity is allowed. But they don't
Got
allow
you.
nudity and liquor to be in the same atmosphere. In
Okay.
Florida, it's like everything goes nude liquor,
Yeah.
ain't no cutoff time. Like,
So wasn't that a shocker from you coming from Detroit, where
yeah,
okay, I could just go topless, and then now go into Miami. Now I gotta go nude. What was that like? The first time you actually had to like, frig, this is no
it
longer a
wasn't.
game.
It wasn't really a shocker because the first club where I really made my name at in Detroit,
Hmm.
it was a nude bar, but they didn't
Hmm.
sell liquor. So I was already used to the
Okay.
new. I just didn't choose to do it. Like I
Yeah.
just thought I was who I was and I didn't choose to do it. And once I started to make a name for myself in King of Diamonds, our manager requested that we keep our clothes on because he knew people would be recording us. See, in my
Got
club
you.
in Detroit, it wasn't men couldn't have their phones out.
Hmm.
In King of Diamonds, you know you're gonna end up on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so he like y'all headliners, people are gonna record y'all. We encourage it actually because it's more promotion for us. Don't like we would actually get in trouble if we like made a mistake and took a top off just by habit. Because if we were dancing for somebody, you know what I'm saying, we would probably take our top off or something like that. But on stage, it's like no, keep everything on because you're headliners and you're gonna end up on the internet somewhere. So
Got you.
yeah.
And that was it right there. Okay, so then now we went to Miami, and then from Miami, where did you end up going from there?
Miami, I ended up going back to Detroit because Miami was starting to just die off. Like, so I was back in Detroit and mostly just traveling and taking bookings
Hmm.
from there until I decided to just retire and become a bar. I didn't even choose to become a bartender. I got forced to. I went to be a waitress again.
Yeah.
And again, you know, the person that was doing the hiring was like, nah. It's just like they never wanted me to be a waitress in a strip club. You can't
Yeah.
do that. And that's how I ended up becoming a bartender. I actually loved bartending. I was glad that he ended up putting me back there and seeing whatever he saw in me to put me back there. But I didn't know the first thing about making a drink or none of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And you
ended
were in the
up
club, so they figure you have the look, you have the swag, you understand how
yeah,
the club works. Put her
yeah,
in the bar, she'll figure it out as she goes along.
yep, yep.
And
And I
that's
did.
that's what it came down to. Okay, because I
Yep.
know you said you retired. When now where everything is going good, you're making a lot of money, it's addictive, you're making 6,000 some nights and stuff like this. Where did you start to feel like, you know what, I don't really want to do this anymore? Or what was the first feeling you got where it started to eat away either in your heart, your stomach, or somewhere where it started to say, I don't know about this?
When I just started getting into one too many arguments with girls about my money, seeing one too many men die, not being able to keep a real relationship, because it's hard for a man's ego. I understand men very well because I've worked around them so much. It's hard for a man's ego,
Yeah.
getting all this attention from other men, having to show your body, even if they did meet you there, which most of the men I dated, I met there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They have a different a perception of you versus if they met you when you weren't. So, and then the one thing that really laid on my heart though was that my daughter started getting older and they started to ask to come to work with me. They didn't know where I was working, and I was like, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's time to make a career move. Like you can't do this all your life. You have nothing, absolutely nothing to show for all this money you were making. It's time to just do something else. Like you got to figure out a way to get out of this. I don't know how you gonna get out, but once I made a decision, like I have to get out, I'm gonna get out. That's when things started shifting. I didn't know. Again, I tried everything. Joining the military. I tried to join the military. That didn't work. They didn't accept me. I don't know why, but tried. I've tried all type of things. Letting the man take care of me, all of that stuff, and none of it worked until I found God. That's when I found God. He started making moves and waves for me. I was just thinking the other day, like I would have never thought, like I didn't know how I was gonna get out. I literally thought I was gonna be in there being a grandma
Yeah.
because people still to this day ask me like, why did you like if I was to go back right now, they would be happy.
Yeah.
They would be happy.
And when you say it's hard to, is it hard to get out because you're addicted to the lifestyle, or you're making this money and you don't have any other way of making money? What's the hardest part about getting out?
For me, I wouldn't even say it was necessarily the lifestyle. I would say it was the money, especially after having kids. And that's the lifestyle that you use with this amount of money that you are making is the one that you're used to. And you're scared. Like it's like, how do I go from making $100, $200 an hour to making 10? I
Yeah.
don't have no resume with no experience, you know what I'm saying, to even try and step into a decent career, like if I do try and go get a real job, what I'm gonna tell them I've been doing for the last 10 years, so
Yeah.
and then again, how do you go from making $200 an hour to making 20?
Yeah.
20 is not a bad, that's not a bad price for people who used to, they used to making that, but somebody who used to making 200 tax free, you want me to take 20 and you taking taxes out and
Yeah.
I gotta wait on it every week or every 2 weeks and
Yeah.
budget it and it
That's hard.
that is hard.
Yeah, that is hard because I really understand, because once you're in a position where you're now basically you're your own boss, you're making this type of money. Now I know in my heart it doesn't feel good anymore. So what do I do? So how could I make $100 an hour doing something else? And that's really where your mind is gonna go. And it's like, I guess usually when you get out of dancing, I guess the first thing you're gonna do getting out of dancing is to go bartending. So you were up here, dancer, bartender before you go out the door, type of thing. Yeah.
That's what a lot of girls do now. They weren't doing that at first. They would go to waitressing. They would try to leave because this is what I did. I left for maybe like a year.
Okay.
Um, but the person I was dating at the time was providing for me financially a lot. But once we broke up, I was like, or we were starting to break up. I was like, I gotta go start, I gotta go start stacking up. I got 2 kids to feed, and where you're not getting help from their fathers, you definitely, it's all on you. So I went,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be a waitress, like that's better than dancing. It's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
One just got on more clothes.
Okay. It's
You
the
know,
it's the environment. Is that's really what it comes down to? Is the environment that you're in?
yeah, and then most of them will still do dance. They'll still do their little twerking if a guy asks them to. But it's the same environment. The only difference is you're not on stage.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go waitress in a restaurant, yeah. But if you still here, tricking these men out their money, overcharging them, getting rained on, got these little shorts on or this little one piece on with your booty all out, it's the same thing. It makes you
Yeah.
feel better. It makes a lot of them feel better because they can say, "Oh, I ain't stripping."
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's just wordplay schematics, but you're still in the environment. You still look the
exactly.
same. You're still kind of the same thing. What was the scariest night that you personally had in the club?
Um, I would say one of them shootouts where you know what I'm saying, where you in a dressing room and you hiding under the counter, hoping and praying that the shooter don't come in there, and you know what I'm saying, you get hit. Like, and I've been in, like I said, a number. I can't even remember how many I've been in. Like, you would think that was enough to make you get out, but when you've been in the middle of a shootout and you still just gotta go back to work the next day,
Yeah.
something is wrong. I ain't no police officer. I ain't signed up for this to be shot at and in shootouts and you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying.
Yeah.
I I ain't signed up for this.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say when in Detroit, and it's only happened in Detroit. I've been, you know what, it's happened there before too.
Okay.
So there was a shootout there, and it wasn't inside the club though. It was happening outside the club afterwards. And I remember this girl, like I'm on the ground ducking behind the car, and I'm like, "Oh man, how do I get out of this?"
Hmm.
Canada don't even know I'm over here.
Yeah.
As far as they know, I told them I was going to New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even supposed to be over here. Like, my goodness, like,
Yeah.
what is going on? I can't get stuck over here in another country. Like, I gotta get home to
Crazy.
my kids. I'm like, my
Hmm.
goodness. Like, but there was this girl, her knees were scraped up because we were outside. And I remember her knees were scraped up. And she like, please help me. I'm like, sis, how you I don't even know where I'm at. It was no
Hmm.
such thing as lifts or Ubers back then. I'm like, sis, what you want me to do? Hold your hand? Like,
Yeah.
I can hold your hand, but I don't really know what you want me to do. I'm trying to help me, baby.
Yeah.
But that
Crazy.
was pretty scary too because
Yeah.
I was in a different country. It's not like I could just call somebody like, pull up, come get me help.
Yeah.
I could call 911. None of
Yeah.
that. So
That's so
that was pretty
crazy.
scary too.
And
Yeah.
even mentally, what does stripping do to you mentally?
Oh my. Mentally, it's a lot. It
Hmm.
impacts you a lot. Again, with every relationship,
Hmm.
your mother, the relationship with your mother, your father, your children, a
Okay.
romantic relationship, you think of men differently. If they can't come to the table with this, then this, and this. You feel like everybody's judging you. Um, it does a lot, man. Then you already had this mentality where you can wake up, well, go make money this same day from doing this or that. Like it depends on the person who you are. It's hard for you to keep real friends in there. Like my goodness, I got a story about that in the book too. But keeping real friends in there.
Hmm.
Listen, I have a saying: when the dollar go up, all your friends go down,
Yeah.
because I've seen some of the best friends, supposedly best friendships, get ruined. In there in that atmosphere because of money or
Yeah.
because of a man that's not theirs. Your morals go out the window. You mess with married men. You mess with girls, and you ain't even got to be gay. You'll do all type of things for the money,
Yeah.
just for the money. And if you don't have a strong mind,
Yeah.
it can definitely take a toll on you and turn you into a whole different person that you just really are not. So
Totally, totally get that one there. And when you were in the clubs, what were your hard no's? What was something you said, listen, I'm staying on this and you can't get me to change this?
um married men.
Okay.
I didn't do married men if I knew they were married. A lot of them hide it. Like, take their ring off, don't wear the ring.
Hmm.
A lot of them hide it. That I didn't steal. I would not steal, like all that little scheming and scamming stuff that those girls used to do. Like,
Hmm.
one thing, if I was get if a manager saw me into it with a girl about some money, he already knew whose side, because I tried to stay to myself, especially in Detroit. Like, I tried to make my money to myself. If a guy wanted a girl to come over, let me get my money up, let me get out the way,
Hmm.
because I don't want no type of problems. I didn't do arguing.
Hmm.
I'm swinging. You know what I'm saying? I had time for none of that. Like,
Yeah.
I,
It's on site.
on site, I don't share the stage with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just certain things, rules that I developed the older I got, the more mature I got. When I was like, I just really don't have time to be in this beef. I didn't really make friends in there after I've seen, two best friends
Hmm.
not be best friends anymore. One doing her husband. That's when I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That
I
that's
stopped
why.
dating men that I met in there. Like it was like a new rule every time you had to make rules in order to survive. Like you had to
Mhm.
be stand strong on your morals and start making some rules, or even as far as my money, like I wouldn't go and spend all my money anymore. I had to make rules for my money.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna put this amount of this percentage up and spend this percentage. I had
Mhm.
to even learn to make rules for which I didn't start learning to make rules for my money until I became a bartender.
Okay.
I made more
Wow.
money and kept more money as a bartender than I did when I was dancing.
Okay. Wow. I guess you just go through the process. One last thing before we even get out of the club now is, did you actually do any surgeries while you were in the clubs?
I did. I
Mhm.
talk about this in my book as well. But at that night, Rick Ross came in there. I
Mhm.
made like 6,300. I went home with like $6,300,
Mhm.
and I scheduled a procedure to get my breast done like
Yeah.
the next day. Like
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna need that done. So I did
Mhm.
get breast enhancement.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if I'm thinking about getting my stomach done right now. You don't
Yeah.
even
All right.
know how that quarantine got me right now. I'm gonna try this workout thing.
Yeah.
But look, I've been saying this for years. Like, listen, this workout don't work, baby.
Mhm. It is
But
what it is, right? Okay,
right.
so again, you see the thing I like. I like your openness. Again, you went through this, all of this, and this is what made you who you are today. So that's
Hmm.
why I'm glad with your openness. What was it like your last day in the club stripping?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember because I don't remember when I just finally said, because when I first started bartending, I was still bartending on some days and I would dance on some days. So I don't
Right.
even remember when the definite day was for me that I stopped
Hmm.
dancing. I do remember the definite day when I stopped bartending. I didn't even tell them I was leaving. I just
Yeah.
left, quit cold turkey.
Let's talk about that. What was Why did you do that? What did you make up in your mind? You say, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
So I went to a conference. I went to a conference last summer,
Hmm.
and I had a prophetess tell me to choose a day, stick to it, and leave, and I'll be fine.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I chose a day, I
Hmm.
stuck to it, and I moved.
Yeah.
Like I moved so that I wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know me, I know
Hmm.
I'm gonna go back. So let me just move. And I moved to Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me. I have a good support system here. My aunt lives here, my dad lives here. I'm a daddy's
Okay.
girl. So, you know, uh I just had to get out of Detroit. Like and what's crazy is, okay, so I moved and I was like, okay, I gotta find a job, right?
Hmm.
Well, I'll let you get I answered your question, right?
Yeah.
My last day, I was fed up. I couldn't wait to get up out of there. And
Hmm.
because they were just doing stuff all wrong, they were taking so much money out of the ones. And it was just, I was like, I'm not, I began to find myself spiritually anyway, like a year
Yeah.
prior
Yeah.
to that. So it was
Okay.
just something eating at me on the inside. Every time I was in there, I knew I wasn't supposed to be in there. And so that last day I just left. I moved. I ain't never come back.
Yeah.
My manager
Wow.
texts me like, so you quit? Like I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, I don't even live
Yeah.
there
Verse.
anymore. I am
Yeah.
gone. But
Uh, wow. And how long ago was this?
this was July 3rd last year.
July 3rd last year. Okay, so you're
Yep,
going into about a year right now.
yep,
Next month, we're basically
yep,
a month away today.
yep,
Wow. Okay, and
yep.
what was the first thing that you actually did to start supporting yourself, or even mentally that you had to do to basically like decompress out of that lifestyle?
So I had been saving. I
Hmm.
had been saving. I didn't know I was saving to quit.
Yeah.
But I told you I started implementing rules for myself for my money. And I had been working on the book too. I had been writing the book already. I
Okay.
released the book in August, right before my birthday.
Hmm.
I didn't. my bills weren't too bad. Again, I had paid my bills up for months and I had been saving. So I had a nice little cushion as
Hmm.
to where I didn't have to worry about any money for a while. And I started applying for to be a flight attendant right after my birthday. I knew I wanted to wait until after my birthday because I wanted to go on vacation. I was like, I ain't gonna try to go work in nobody's, job and then tell
Yeah.
them I need the week off to go on
Yeah.
vacation. I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some type of integrity.
Hmm.
So my birthday is September 2nd. I
Okay.
quit 2 months prior. I ended up getting a call back for the interview like 10 days after I applied, which is not normal for airlines. Like everything just started to move for me. When I left it up to God, like, all right, God,
Hmm.
I'm out of there. You gonna have to, if you don't want me back up in there, I'm gonna
Yeah.
need you to show me
Yeah.
something, make a way or something. And I ended up getting hired a month after not even a month after I applied. I got accepted October 1st. Training started October 26th.
Okay.
I graduated November 21st. And it's
Here we are.
here we are.
That's so crazy. And the fact that I guess was that something you wanted to do for a long time, or you just looked around and said, "What do I need to do?" And you zoned in on flight
It is
attendant.
actually something I wanted to do. I applied 5 years. I initially applied to be a flight attendant at least 5 years ago. It
Okay.
was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Hmm.
But I don't know if I filled the thing out right, but I didn't even try to follow up and see because I was
Yeah.
so deep into dancing. I probably would have got fired anyway. it, I probably would have got the
Yeah.
job and ruined it anyway. So
Hmm.
I just came back to that dream because it was a dream.
Hmm.
I just wasn't able to focus on that dream because of what I had right in front of me. So I went back to that dream. Like I've always wanted to be a flight attendant. If
Hmm.
anybody hires me, it's gonna have to be somebody where I can still go, get up and go. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna work for anybody, why not be a flight attendant?
Yeah. It
And it
makes
all
perfect
came
sense.
so easily, yeah.
Yeah.
And it did made perfect sense.
Yeah, definitely. And right there, I also wanted to know. So then now let's get into your book a bit here. What made you decide to write a book?
So I began a personal development journey about a year before I started writing the book. Again, I found God or he found me. I don't know how it happened. He probably came and found me because I don't think I was looking for him.
Okay.
But I felt like it was a responsibility for
Hmm.
me because I took away a lot from the books that I was reading, and I felt like so many people needed like so many people where I was from, that club scene, all of that, just even from where I grew up, high school, all of that, needed a personal development book that could speak to them in a language that they could understand.
Hmm.
Who better? Why complain about the situation and you're not gonna come up with a solution to it? I can give you some personal development in all of these lessons that I learned in
Hmm.
this night lifestyle that I lived.
Hmm.
Why not? I can speak your language, write the
Yeah.
book. And so that's what I did. If you would have told me I was writing a book or going to speak on any type of platform 5, 6 years ago, would have told you was tripping. It took me.
Hmm.
I done took my English classes and speech classes over like 5 times in college, like
Okay.
those classes. Math, science, passed those the first time.
Yeah.
English, speech, no, you couldn't get me to write a paragraph and think that I wrote a whole book.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just the title of it, "Strip Bare Naked," so it's almost like you're ready to bare your soul and show them what you've seen from your eyes and put it
Hmm.
down on paper so you could understand who Distraction really is at that time there and where
Yep.
you're going right now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? No, that's crazy. I remember my sister C. She was the one that pointed out, said, "Listen, you need to get Distraction on the podcast." But
I
at that
love
time
C.
there, yeah, she's good. But at that time there, it was only in studio. So right now I'm in the studio, so you'd have to come sit down in the studio, have my mics and all that stuff
Um,
there. But now since the pandemic and everything
right.
happened, and now we can do a
Everything's
lot of
virtual.
virtual stuff. Yeah. So
Hmm.
you're way over there, I'm way here. We're sitting down, and now it's really connecting because we did see it. Your book came out last year.
Yep.
Yeah, we seen it from then. It's just we couldn't connect. I said, yeah, as soon as I can, definitely connect with you. Want to get into some of your businesses here before I get you out of here. What are your two businesses that you have right now?
So Kiara Sade Enterprises is basically my coaching and consulting company.
Mm-hmm.
My desire with this company is that I teach and help and inspire um, other women. It's particularly mothers learn how to create a side hustle
Mm-hmm.
online. I can take anything anybody does. They can be a carpenter, they can be a painter. I don't care what they do. And I can help them implement a way where they can make another stream of revenue from their phone or from their computer, something that they can do on the go to
Yeah.
open up another stream of income, especially with what's going on right now. Like you said, you know, uh, it's important to have, and a lot of people, I'm not the person that believes that everybody is an entrepreneur. A
For
lot of
sure.
entrepreneurs try to push you should have your own business. You should have your own business. Everybody ain't cut out to have their own business,
Not
but
at
I
all.
do believe everybody is cut out to have their own side hustle. It's
Yeah.
something in you that you got that you can make some money off of. Even
Mm-hmm.
if it's cooking chicken or drawing paintings. It's something else in you that you have that you can implement to create your own source of income, as to where you don't have to just solely depend on your career or your this or your that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I show women other ways, through ebooks, through video courses, through me coming on live,
Yeah.
through my posts, and helping them implement ways that they can create a side hustle.
Yeah.
um,
And the good
yeah.
thing with it is you have your daytime job, which is flight attendant, and then you
Mhm.
have your side hustle, which is
Mhm.
teaching people how to have a side hustle, which
Yep.
is great. It's a win-win. How do you
Yep.
lose? You know what I
On the
mean?
go. If I can
Yeah.
do this flying all over the place, you can certainly do it at home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely. And how has business been, especially in the pandemic right now?
Um, business has business has been More people are online right now. They're bored.
For
No better
sure.
time than now. And then I teach people how to do this with little to no money.
Hmm.
A lot of people, money stops them from starting a business or whatnot. I started Mamas with Melanin with absolutely no money, just to be able to show people you can do. Don't let money be,
Hmm.
an issue, especially when I know you got some money.
Yeah.
It's just about where you feel like spending it. You know what I'm saying? You got
Hmm.
something. You got $100. You got $200 that you can use to invest in whatever your dream is. That phone bill or whatever that $200 was going to can wait,
Yeah.
because when this is an investment. Their Shopify is giving out free websites right now, 90-day trials, where it used to be a 14-day trial.
Hmm.
Again, my website is absolutely free right now for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
Stop making money off of it, and I ain't paid them a dollar yet. Social media is free. Facebook is free. Instagram is free. You
Hmm.
on there anyway. You know,
You
you on there
understand.
anyway. So why not make some money from it while you sitting on there?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the thing. I teach them too. You don't gotta have no whole bunch of money
Yeah.
to and a lot of businesses were started during pandemics, during recessions.
Hmm.
If you find a way to meet people's needs,
Yeah.
your business is gonna do just fine during whatever, as long as you're meeting a need. Dressmakers switched to making masks,
Yeah.
and I know a dressmaker who made six figures off of making masks. And the pandemic's been here for what, 2, maybe 3 months?
Wow. Yeah.
6 figures.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
You gotta hustle. You gotta know how to hustle. And again, with the internet, social media, and all of these stuff here, as you said, it's a very small cost of entry. Get in and start
yeah,
figuring it out. There's no
yeah,
100% wrong answer. There's no 100% right answer. Also,
yeah.
you understand. All right. Before I get you out of here, there's a round called the rapid facts, where I ask you some quick questions. You give me back some quick answers. All right.
Okay.
You ready? Okay. So then the first one here is, what's your favorite color?
The rainbow. I don't know. Uh, White.
White. Okay. Cool. Okay. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is not giving my daughters the options that I really desire for them to have.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. What's your favorite food?
Oh, so greedy. These are hard.
No,
Favorite?
this is
Oh,
rapid facts, you
oh,
know,
you right.
distraction.
Steak.
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 Okay. Are you a cooker or a cleaner?
Cooker for sure.
Okay.
I don't like
W-
clean.
What's the last book you read or listened to?
The last book I've read completely
Hmm.
or like started.
Or started. Let's go with started.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna cheat. The last book I read is the Bible. I read the Bible last night.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I like
Yeah,
that. That's a good one. Okay. What is your hobby?
my hobby traveling. Does that count?
Of course it does.
Because even before I was a flight attendant, I love to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, traveling.
That's a good one.
Reading. I love reading. I read a lot. I love reading.
Yeah. Okay. If you could have dinner with three people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Ooh, dinner with three people, dead or alive.
Hmm.
Um, hmm, it's a good one.
Hmm.
Beyonce,
Okay.
um, Michael Todd, Pastor Mike Todd,
Okay.
and third one, Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. Okay. Good one. Very, very good. Okay. What is your hidden talent?
Ooh, I'm so multi-talented.
Give me one. It's a rapid facts. Give me one that we don't
Cooking.
know.
I can
Cooking.
cook.
All right. All right. You're a
Yeah, I
cooker.
can
All right.
cook.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you relax?
In silence. I just sit in my room in silence.
Okay. Good one. One song that had the biggest influence on your life.
Song.
Yeah.
Hmm. Meek Mills.
Okay.
Forgot the name. You know that song. Everybody was throwing money up. Dirty Diana. Duh. That's a Dirty
Yeah, that makes
Diana.
sense. That changed the whole game for you.
If
All
I
right.
could meet Michael, let me change my answer. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have dinner with him just to let him know, bruh, you helped me
Thank
make a
you.
lot of money.
Thank you. All right. I got about five more here. Okay. What would you prefer, sex or chocolate?
Chocolate,
Chocolate. Okay. Another one here. Your favorite movie of all time?
white chicks,
Well, you prefer water or juice?
water, love water,
All right. Something salty or sweet?
salty.
It's sweet. Salty. Okay. Okay. You got me. Okay. Your favorite comedian of all time?
Kevin Hart,
Yeah,
Kevin Hart.
that's a good one there. And that is the end of the rapid. No, sorry, there's one last one here. Your biggest regret.
My biggest regret,
Hmm.
not finding God sooner.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, okay, that's the end of the rapid facts. But you see the trick with finding God? It's not a matter of sooner or later, it's when it's supposed to happen. Because if you had entertained that thought earlier, you probably
Hmm.
weren't ready for it. You're ready for it when it happened.
Yep,
So, so then that
yep,
was a good one there.
yeah. They
Wow.
say that the teacher appears when the student is ready, right?
You understand.
Yep.
Distraction, it's been a great conversation. Right now, if there's
Yes.
anything you want to say, any contact info, anything, leave all your info right there before we get you out of here.
I think you told them everything. Follow me on Instagram, Kiara Sade, Mamas with Melanin, Facebook, same thing. I'm on I am distraction sometimes, but not my main. I just get on there every now and then. But
Yeah.
yeah, you want to keep up with me, Kiara Sade for sure. Mamas with Melanin. And I would just say if there's anything that you've ever wanted to do and you've been waiting on something or some time to do it, the time is now. It'll never be a perfect time. Things will never be perfectly the way you envision them in your head.
Mhm.
Just get out there and start messy, start now, start scared. So because you'll look back and your biggest regret will be that I did not start sooner, you know.
You understand.
So yeah.
You understand. No, no, no. Crazy, crazy conversation. I definitely wanted to have this conversation with you because I know of the 360 you made in your life where it's okay, nightlife, stripping, and sex work and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then now it's more like flight attendant. You gave your life to God and all that. And that's a real from left to right. And it's
Mhm.
amazing to see that journey because, again, it's not like you were nobody when you were
Mhm.
stripping. You were one of the bosses of all bosses. You understand?
Right. And
So
I ain't
then
get
to
saved
see,
by no man. You know, most
yeah,
of them
no.
get saved by man. I had to
Yeah.
save myself.
It was good. It was amazing.
It
Distraction.
was
Anytime
amazing.
you're back in the city, you know where to find me. I'm gonna big you up for my sister C. She's the one that's made this happen. She said, "Yo, talk to Distraction, made it happen," and here we are.
Yes, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Thank you. It's been good. You know what I mean? Hopefully take care of yourself. Stay out of the mix, all that good stuff, and just continue to pray until we get out of all of this. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And keep
yes.
it moving. All right, that's good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Cuts Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out. This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinesmusichut.com.